he kept murdering me, whatever.
Yes.
Those feelings, like, if you were a stone cold killer and, like, could, like, still operate efficiently under those feelings, like, if I could, I'd be winning tournaments probably. No, not really. You know, you could look past it and realize that, you know, you could analyze it the way that's most optimal to analyze it, and that is, yes, he got my main, but I killed, like, 4 medevacs worth. Like, yes, he took me down, like, really bad, but he keeps losing his army over and over again, and he's not slowing down my army. Until not that fight, but the fight before, he was never slowing down your army. He had no ghosts, and you had, like, 8 Templar. So you were going to kill any straight-up fight. It was just these split pushes that he was so good at that you were going to have to worry about. Oh, okay, he wants me to add him to call. That's my friend JD. I used to play with him a decent bit. Yeah, so what's my point? So even though it felt horrible, and things were going bad, I'm not going to lie to you, they weren't as bad as they feel. They feel like there's no way you can come back, but you had an upgrade advantage for most of the game, and you had, like, the splash damage, and he didn't have anything against it. Well, he did have the Vikings at that one fight, but... Where is he? Does he have some weird name? Yeah, there he is. Not a weird name.
Hey.
What's up, JD? How you doing?
Pretty good. Long time no speak.
Yep.
Is Theodore Shadowfyre?
Yes, Theo, he goes by.
Theo, okay.
Which is, like, pretty baller in my opinion.
Chmielewski.
So I was basically just explaining to him that even though things seemed super bad, and they were kind of bad, one thing to note is you were losing a lot for all those drops. It feels worse than it actually is, because at the end of the game,
yeah, for sure.
At the end of the game, right before that last fight, you actually were losing in units lost, like by 1,500 resources, JD.
Yeah, I'm sure I was.
So the main thing, after a while, I was just trying to help you win, Theo. But the main thing I wanted to talk to you about was
Thanks.
Your forges again and your observers. So you explained me to your observers before. You said you make one to go with your army and one to go scout his base, obviously. Do you make 3 or do you stop at 2?
I always stop at 2.
So lately, I've been getting, in Hardest Form in general, I've been very frustrated with the medevac speed boost drops, and JD actually does it better than a lot of people I play on ladder, because people don't understand, like, a lot of Terrans rage and get frustrated because just a Templar or just a Potent Overcharge can hold off a medevac drop. Well, they can't if you use 2 or 3 medevacs, you know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what he did almost every time. So I was getting frustrated with it.
The reason I stopped playing StarCraft for several months is because I thought Heart of the Swarm was like a big Terran pity party.
Oh yeah.
Like, here, let's give you these Widow Mines that are retardedly overpowered, and let's boost the medevac. Like, I thought medevacs were overpowered beforehand.
Yeah.
So I just abuse what I think is strong.
So lately, what I've been doing. Oh, you're talking to this guy?
Yeah.
Well, we can talk about certain rushes, but they have to be very specific.
Yeah.
And plus,
you should note that Reaper, like you said, probably should have been there. What, like 30 seconds early?
Yeah, like at least like 15 seconds. But okay, dude. So back to what I was saying, Theo. Lately, I've been very frustrated with it, or at least like 4 or so months ago. So I stopped doing like really greedy forge openings. Well, now I do sometimes, only if they're going gasless. But don't worry about that. I do 1 gate expand, and then robo, and then 2 more gateways, and I make 3 observers before I make anything else. I'm not necessarily saying you need to make 3 observers, but if you're going to keep an observer at home with your army, I suggest you don't keep it with your army until you know that they're attacking you with something like Widow Mines or Banshees, because, you know, it's like a 5 or 10 second float time, or even making a new one with a chrono boost is just like 15 or 20 seconds. Not a big deal. But seeing a drop right before it happens is important. So the observer you keep at home, I suggest you do what I do and send it, on that map specifically, when you spawn on the bottom left, send it to like the mid, like to the upper right slightly of your main and patrol it. over like I don't know what a couple gateways width maybe. Because that way it'll most like any drop coming in the main, it will cover it and you'll see it, and that will give you like a 3 or 4 second head start, which doesn't seem like a lot, but walking from your natural to your main, that's like half of the distance. So because your army's going to be your natural anyway.
You didn't ask for my 2 cents, but I think the only reason you lost that game was because of the drops. Your army composition countered mine perfectly.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that was about it. I never got hit with the mothership. What's it called? Photon overcharge or something?
Yeah. Well, because you kept killing it.
Yeah, that's always the thing I focus down because that thing is so strong.
Yeah.
But yeah, also the reason I kept running in units sort of willy-nilly was because I was able to keep him off at 3rd, and I figured I was ahead in econ, so I just kept sort of sacrificing units. I never wanted to take on your army straight up because I knew I was going to lose.
Even late game when you had like 5 bases and like we're up 50 supply, he's still pulling your army.
2 well-placed storms, and suddenly I'm like 60 food less than I was.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously you need ghosts, but we're not here to talk about you. We're here to talk about Theo. So yeah, dude. So I do actually suggest trying 3 observers, because they're always useful. They never stop being useful because Terrans are always going to drop you, as he made a perfect point. So I definitely say make a 3rd observer and maybe warp in less stalkers. Don't go for more stalkers after your first one, is my suggestion. Instead, get the sentry and just get zealots, because with photon overcharge and force fields, you'll definitely be able to hold. And stalkers just kind of aren't that good, like I said, unless you need them for something specific. Unless you're doing a blink all-in, unless they have the Vikings and you need to focus them down. Yeah, so I can show you on some maps where to put your observers to be like most optimal, if you want.
I agree with everything you just said, really.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, but do you understand? Like basically, just because if you had taken your observer and went to his base with the first one, and then patrolled your main with the second one, you would have had it. You would have seen the Widowmine drop coming just a couple seconds sooner, and you're not. It's not in your main. It's like outside your main, floating. And you also would have had the observer not that far away to kill the Widowmines. So it's like there's no point to not do it.
How did that do, by the way? I sort of queued it up and then just didn't look.
Pretty good. There was at least one with 7 kills.
Ooh.
And I think the rest just had 1 or 2. So yeah, so definitely very good, actually. I mean, I guess you lost 4 Widowmines worth, so that's like, I don't know, some cheap amount, Terran, OP, whatever. But
75, 25. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it's totally overpowered.
No, I mean they nerfed him. I mean it's not as bad. He didn't lose his whole mineral line like it would have happened before.
Well, and according to like tournament results and everything, isn't Protoss on top right now?
Yeah, for sure. Because of that Oracle. Because now, honestly, in my opinion, the Oracle change didn't make the Oracle OP. People seeing an Oracle change and deciding to use it versus Terran made it OP. Like it already was OP at how fast it kills Terran and stuff. So that's why Protoss was already slightly strong against Zerg because, I don't know, if you just play very careful and build up a good army and like scout constantly, you can get to late game against Zerg. And once you're late game, unless they're like really good at like Swarm Host, Spine Spore Crawler, massing, like cut the map in half.
Like that 2-hour game.
Exactly.
Fire Cake versus Mana.
Like cut the map in half. This is my side of the map. Unless they're good at that, then Protoss is stronger late game. So yeah, Protoss is definitely on top. They're talking about some kind of.
I hate playing ZVP right now. I think Photon Overcharge is just ridiculous against Zerg.
I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. What is ridiculous against Zerg? Voidbears are slightly ridiculous. It depends. Storm is pretty good. I don't know.
I'm talking specifically about Photon Overcharge.
I don't think I don't think so, and I don't think I can pick a specific. It's like Zerg. I don't know. You have to be really aggressive and really good at it, and then it looks like it's a balanced game. Otherwise, the Protoss just builds up, and they have really strong units.
Yeah. But anyway, like you said, we're not here to discuss balance.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I don't want to like interfere here.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just pulling up this map. Okay. If you want to pull up my stream, Theo.
Your stream's been up this entire time.
A big boy. Well, then in like 8 seconds, you'll see I'll have.
It's just always been muted.
Okay, you'll see I have paint pulled up.
Yeah.
So, first observer, send it across the map to scout, and the second one, patrol between these points. Do you see it yet?
Which one? You have 2 points.
Well, and that's why I'm saying make 3 observers.
Okay.
Yeah. So what that does is just gives you a 4 or 5 second heads up of, oh shit, there's something coming in my main, and like, what? There's medevacs coming in my main, it's not going to be anything else. And then once you take your third, oh, that was wrong, actually. You can instead put your observer here, and in about 8 seconds of the stream delay, you'll see that. And what that does is it covers the spots that you don't see with the tower. Like, the tower will cover the center of the map and slightly to the left, and this observer will see if he's sending a medevac around the tower, and 9 times out of 10 they do anyway, just in case you have the tower. And that's a good spot. That'll give you more than 5 seconds heads up. But just having these things, having these little heads up, knowing, like, okay, I have this shit in place, now I just need to condition myself to like constantly be glancing at the mini map and seeing, glancing at those observers, then you'll basically be able to catch anything. Just once
not
you
only that,
do it
but
faster.
your reaction speed is really. You're in silver.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What the heck?
I saw him play for like 10 minutes on his stream before I even started coaching him, and was like, "Oh, this is gonna be easy, getting you better," you know.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I have really bad PvP and PvZ, and that's where the majority of my losses right now are coming from.
Yeah, I mean, your storms and feedbacks on the medevacs were a lot faster than I was expecting.
Okay, so so this general observer thing can basically be applied to any map, any Protoss vs Terran. With the style you use, I think it would behoove you to get 3 observers. Now, with that in mind, the second thing I needed to talk to you about actually makes even more sense with making an extra observer, because it's 75 gas. Your forges are too late, or too early. So at first I said I didn't like the forges since you're going such fast Colossus, but then I watched you play and like you have it all figured out. I do like it. You still need an earlier sentry, which you did that game, but then it got killed, which sucks. But you know, it happens.
Paying attention to the sentry.
But the forges are early. The forges, you put them down, you were setting stuff up, etc., etc., and then you built your robotics bay immediately. I don't think you should delay your robotics bay, because that's your build. Like, you're relying on Colossus to take a quick third to defend these drops, because Colossus are like a really important part of your army. But you didn't have the gas. Your robotics bay was finishing, and you only had 130 gas or something. Delay your forges by 60 seconds or 90 seconds. That will allow you to build up more gas for the third observer, and so that when your forges do finish, you already have Colossus and probably range on the way, and you can start 1-1 immediately. +1 attack, +1 armor. Make sense? Okay.
I think so, yeah.
So I think those are, so that's we're probably basically done for today, but those are the main things you can look at, because I really like your build, and I really like how you play PvT. You know, what are the other things you work on? Well, like, react to things faster, split your army better, like, these are just things that come with time and come with playing. But for now, focus on 60 or 90 seconds later forges, and get get an extra observer and put them in those positions. And I think that should be good.
Okay.
We'll talk about Zerg next time, because like I said, I think like fundamentally, like knowledge-wise, that's probably my best matchup. And yeah, we'll just do we'll probably practice like 1 all-in and then the standard Phoenix Crest into Colossus into third. Sound good? Yeah, boy. And JD, thank you so much, because we were looking for people and couldn't find people, and I was like, oh.
I saw that and I was like, man, I'm sitting here not doing anything.
I was like, this would be so much easier if we had a person, and then you came along. So thanks so much.
My pleasure. Plus, I haven't talked to you in like a year.
I know. What have you been up to?
StarCraft related or?
No, life related.
Well, I moved to Kentucky back in February.
Oh snap!
For a job.
Oh snap! Is it a good job?
It's
good enough to
I'm
move.
looking for another one.
Oh, that sucks.
I mean, it's the kind of thing where I'm comfortable. I'm not like, you know, hurting to pay rent or anything, but I didn't get a master's degree for this.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, totally understandable. What do you do exactly?
I'm a logistics specialist.